Hi guys, Kenny from Hangar 51 here. Today we're going to look at the Parkzone P51 Mustang. Awesome little airplane, great little flyer. I left it in the box because I wanted to show you a cool feature about the box. It's actually a great way to transport this little baby. So let's open the box, take a look at just what you get here. Okay. So, as you can see, it's secured with these little styrofoam pads. You've got room for 4 batteries you can carry. The slots are already slit there, and a field charger. And the field charger has 4 AA batteries in it that came included with the kit, and you can just pop one of your little batteries straight into there, and the little red light comes on telling you it's charging. So that's super nice. AA batteries, you can charge them at the field. You don't need to bring a cord or anything. Real nice styrofoam box that protects the model, so that's great. And then you just pull those off, out it comes. So let's get the box out of the way. Now I bought the this is the bind and fly version. So I bound it to my Spectrum, my DX6i, and this also is the one with the AS3X system, and I'll show you what that is actually. So this is really nice little flyer. Flies really good. Pretty easy to fly. I flew at the gym the other day. A little tight in the gym, flies okay. You know, of course I bashed it into a few things, but really no damage. You know, some light damage, no big deal. Nothing that's going to stop it from flying. Still looks great. You know, really nice little unit. What I like about let me just show you a couple of features here. Let's just pop that battery out of the charger. And what it does, I'll turn the radio on. I already have it set for this model. And then we'll just plug this in. Now, before I plug that in, let me show you. There's a little piece of Velcro in here. So it's a really fine Velcro. And the battery that came with it had some Velcro on it. But I didn't experience this, but I've seen other people's reviews of this model, and they say that the Velcro wears out pretty quickly, and then you end up having this issue. You know, you'll be flying along, and let me let that bind up first. Okay. Well, maybe it didn't bind up yet. Yeah, okay. You end up with that, okay? Because the Velcro will let go in the mid-flight, and then you're flying around with the battery dangling, or it falls off completely and you lose it. You can't see it, but what I did was I took a little piece of packing tape and I added a little cradle here. And I took a piece of tape, put another piece of tape on it this way, just down the center where the battery is, so it won't stick to the battery, left the sides tapey so that I could tape it down here and here, but there's no tape in the middle here. And now I can just slide this battery inside my little loop there like that, and that'll hold it in. No Velcro needed. And I have several of these battery packs, and the only one that came with Velcro was the one that came with it. So now all my battery packs work, including the Velcro one. You just slide it in there, and it won't fall out. And so that solved that problem. Now you can hear all that jittering around. That's the AS3X system. And what it does is it tries to, if you watch the ailerons while I'm doing that, they're trying to compensate. So while it's flying along and the wind goes whoop, like that, and you're not controlling it, you haven't, no stick input, it tries to level it back. It works pretty well. I can't say I don't like it. Sometimes it overcompensates. It doesn't inhibit flight at all. It kind of adds a little smoothness to it, but it in no way makes it easier to fly. It's a stabilization system, but your stick inputs override it. So if you're sticking the plane to fly it, it's going to fly what you give it command to do. It's not going to, this thing isn't going to save you, you know, like, oh, I've got too much and it's going to overcorrect back or anything like that. All it does basically is while you're flying along level and the wind's batting it around, it tries to stabilize it so it looks like it's flying smoother. But again, that's only when you're not sticking it. You know, your stick inputs automatically override the stabilization, so it doesn't help you fly it. If you had any illusions that it's going to make the plane easier to fly, no, it does not. That's not what it's for, I guess. You know, like I said, I've got one of the orange receivers from Hobby King that has the same basic system, and it's a 3-axis gyro setup. I actually put it in, coincidentally, a bigger size P51, and it does the exact same thing. You know, the servos are jittering around, it tries to correct, and it flies exactly like this one does. You know, sometimes it overcorrects. That one's adjustable. This one, from what I've read in the instructions, there's no adjustments on it. It is what it is. Don't think you need to. It does fine. You know, real stable flyer, flies good, but it is a P51. It's not a trainer. You know, if you are in an attitude like this, it's going to keep flying like this till it hits the ground, unless you do something about it. Unlike a high-wing trainer, similar to the one I learned to fly on. Well, it's kind of hard to get at. Maybe I can get at it. This thing here, and the wing is up here. Okay, so you got a high dihedral wing here, the V here, on here like this. And this is just actually this was a 2-channel, but if I was going to make it electric, it was gas. I had a Cox 049 gas motor in it. You just start it and throw it. Fly it around until it runs out of gas and then dead stick land it. But what it does is, if you're in an attitude like this and you let go of the stick, it's going to correct itself. The dihedral makes it level, and the trim and the lift on the wing makes it upright. So it's going to correct itself. So you get in trouble with this, you just let go of the sticks, and if you've got it trimmed correctly, it'll right itself. So much easier to fly than this. You know, even though this, you know, flies really well, it's not a trainer. You need something to this configuration, similar. Anything high wing, good dihedral, 3 channels, all you really need. The ailerons come later. You don't need ailerons on a plane like this. It's going to bank just beautifully on the rudder and much easier to fly, and you take it home in one piece. This plane is 41 years old, guys. Okay, it survived all my crashes, and I still own it 41 years after I started flying it. Of course, I haven't been flying it for 41 years. I stopped flying it 40 years ago, I guess, probably. Yeah, every once in a while I would take it out and fly it, and actually I'm thinking about putting an electric motor on it and taking it out again just for shits and giggles, but it survived all my crashes as a student, and you know, that's the difference. This, even though it takes some pretty good hits without too much damage, chances are you're not going to be bringing that home in one piece if you're a beginner. I know it's, you know, I know that's not cool looking like this, but this is still difficult to fly. In the aspect is if you're a beginner and you get disoriented, or if you're just over sticking it, it's real easy to just screw it into the ground, and you know, you're doing a roll and get confused on where you're at, and you start second guessing what you're doing, and then you pull up on the stick while it's inverted and you screw it right down into the ground. So not a good trainer. Once you've got your left-right skills down and you can fly one of those comfortably, And when I mean comfortably, you don't have to think about, you know, geez, I gave it left stick. Do I need to give it right stick coming at me now? Or when it becomes second nature and you're not thinking about it, that's when you're ready to upgrade to something like this. You know, something that requires you to stick everything, because it's not going to fix anything. Whatever attitude it's in, this, it's going to continue in that exact angle of attack until you tell it not to. And that's not a beginner airplane, so you don't want it for that. But love it. Love this little thing. Flies really, really good. Even in the gym, it was fun to fly it around. I crashed it into a beam, smushed the prop a little bit, so you probably can't see it on the video here, but there's some crush marks on the prop, but you know, who cares? I mean, it still flies perfect, you know, and it's got a steerable tail wheel on it, on the rudder. Makes it great for taxiing on the ground. I will say one thing that is probably working for the stabilization, especially the rudder. On a takeoff roll, if you throttle up and don't try to chase the rudder, you know, if it starts to yaw either way, the stabilization is going to try to turn it back. So your takeoffs are going to be straighter as long as you don't try to stick it. As soon as you start sticking the rudder, the stabilization, you're overriding the stabilization, so it's not doing anything. It only does something when you're not sticking it. But if you just throttle up, it will kind of try to keep it tracking straight, so you're not doing ground loops, that kind of stuff. So I highly recommend you put the tape thing here. From what they tell me, the Velcro is not going to hold long. I understand why. The Velcro on the battery is pretty decent, but the Velcro in here doesn't even feel like Velcro. It feels like a little piece of felt, not the loopy Velcro. So yeah, the Velcro sticks to it, but it ain't going to stick very well. It ain't going to stick very long, and the batteries are going to start falling out. So I highly recommend you do what I did. Just put a little piece of tape there with another piece of tape so that there's no sticky on the inside in the center section here, and then you just slide your battery inside there. I usually just pull the label back, set it down in there, push it forward. Sometimes the label pops through the end of the tape, sometimes that doesn't matter. It has no effect on keeping it in there, and you're good to go. Landing gear's a little springy, it's got little foam tires on it. Flies really well, really like it. So I highly recommend if you're looking for a small little park flyer, something you can fly around, you know, a decent sized backyard, small park. Absolutely, I recommend getting it. It's a nice little airplane. It's great looking. You can set it on your coffee table when you're not flying it, you know, and it's a nice conversation piece. You know, looks like a plastic model, and when you tell them, oh yeah, that flies, I can take it out and fly it, you know. I fly it with this, you know. What? Yeah. So, pretty cool. So, that's my review on it. I was originally going to buy the T28, but when I got to the hobby shop, the T28 didn't have the AS3X system in it. I had seen another review on the Mustang, and said it flew really good. So I decided, since I wasn't paying, they were the same price, I wasn't paying anything extra for the AS3X, so I thought I'll get the one with the the AS3X, since I'm not paying extra for it, and we'll see how that works. And no complaints. I really love the little airplane. It flies great. So haven't taken the wheels off yet, but they snap right off. You just lift the little tab, it's a wire here, and you lift it out of its little cradle, and they come right off. So if you're going to belly land it in the grass, just take the wheels off. You know, it's a cleaner look then. But yeah, really, really happy with this. Really, really nice. I don't have the dual rates. Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, the dual rates are working. Yeah. Okay, so the dual rates are working. That was I'd set the dual rates up for the previous model I had in here, and yeah, it's still working. I haven't found out if you can turn the AS3X off or not. Nothing I've read in and the pamphlet says you can turn it off. So not sure on that one. I don't know why you'd want to turn it off. It's not really, like I said, it doesn't affect the flyability of it at all. It just tries to stabilize it a little bit, and not a big deal. Yeah, if it's on the plane, I'd buy it. If it's not, and it's a plane you want, and if you've already seen a review on it and they say it flies good, then buy it. You know, I don't think the AS3X is, you know, that big a deal. You know, like I said, it was free basically because I didn't pay any extra for this, so I went ahead and got it. Still tested it out. You know, I had that Hobby King version of the same thing, and it behaves identical to this on my big P51, and I haven't flown it without it yet, and I'm about to. And when I do that, I'll review that as well and let you know how I rate the two with and without the stabilization. You know, the little. But it doesn't make it any easier to fly, and this is definitely not a beginner airplane. Once, like I said, once you've got the skills down where left and right is long, and let me tell you something, guys, if you're new to flying, the left and right doesn't matter if it's on a plane or a car. It's the same thing. So if you want to start with an RC car, go to Toys R Us. Listen, I've got a bunch of them. You can see them, and you know, these are all toy cars that I bought. You know, Walmart, Toys R Us, whatever. And most of them came with stick radios. So just go buy yourself a car with a stick radio and go play with it a lot. And trust me, when the car's coming at you, the controls are reversed. It'll train you to remember, your mind will automatically remember that it's reverse coming at you. And it's the perfect way to learn your left-right without flying. Because you can't crash, well, you can crash the car into things, but generally speaking, you don't break the car. The car will take a, you know, bumping in curbs and stuff, it scratches it up, but doesn't break it, and you can keep playing. So get yourself a car with a stick controller like this, 2 sticks, and go out and just drive the heck out of it. And when you have got that down, it's going to make flying the plane so much easier, because the up-down is not the problem. It's the left-right is what gets you confused, gets you into trouble. You know, you're coming at yourself, the wing's like this. You forget that it's, you know, you think, well, you know, this wing's down, coming at me. I want that wing up, so I'm going to crank the stick that way. Well, that just makes it worse. And the next thing you know, you're upside down, and then you panic, you pull back on the stick because that means up, but upside down means down, and boom. You know, the next thing you know, you're doing one of these. And that's when you crash an airplane. So get yourself a stick radio car and play with it a lot. Just take it outside, drive it around, just keep driving it around, and it'll get your left-right set up, and then you'll be golden when you start flying. It'll make things much easier. Once you've tackled that, that's 90% of the battle. Trust me. Once you've got the left-right down, the rest of it's cake. You'll be able to fly it easily once you get that far. So, anyway, so that's my review of this. I love it. Great little flyer. Flies really nice. A lot of fun to fly out there. It comes both a bind and fly, which is what I bought, and for a little extra, you get a cheap little transmitter. Didn't need the transmitter, already had the Spectrum radio. It binds to that perfectly, so there was no reason to pay extra for a transmitter that I don't need. I've got 100 transmitters around here now. Don't need them all, so didn't need another one. So, but that's your choice. If you don't have a Spectrum radio, then just pay the extra. I think it's an extra $10 or $20, and it comes with a transmitter. So, you know, if you don't need, you know, of course, this has got some mixing and some programmability, the dual rates, and you can put some Expo, you know, which is, you know, up the scale as far as beginner level. That's none of the stuff you need on a beginner, but you can't do that with the cheap transmitter. So if that's important to you, you want to be able to program some Expo into it, some dual rates, that kind of stuff, mixing. Maybe you want to mix the aileron and the rudder. You can't do any of that with the cheap transmitter that comes with it. You can just fly it. So if that's the case, then you definitely want to just buy the bind and fly and use your Spectrum radio. Other than that, highly recommend it. It's a great little flyer, this Mustang. And now they're not, you know, Horizon makes a bunch of these models, and other people have reviewed some of the other ones, and they don't fly so great. But the Mustang definitely does. That's a good flyer. From what I've seen, also the T28 is an excellent flyer. So those would be two I would recommend just from what I know. This one from personal experience. the T28 because of just seeing it fly on YouTube, and other people have said it's a great little flyer. So there you have it. If you like my video, subscribe to Hangar 51, also on Facebook, Hangar 51, and we'll see you on the next video. Okay, see you later. Bye-bye.